Oscar BEVIS for IFL TV in association with MTK Global, here at the BT Tower, with the man himself, Mr. Dean Whyte. How are you, brother?
How you doing, brother? I'm good, man.
Good. Dillian was brought up a lot, actually.
Is it
by
today?
Daniel? Yeah, but I mean, they spoke about that he sparred all the top names.
Yeah, it's what I did.
He's not sparred Dillian? I didn't think
No.
I'd heard about that, no.
I was when he said it, I was just like, But then he said nearly all of them, so he corrected it, so it's fine.
And as well, he's fighting for Dillian's WBC silver belt, which was that on the line against Rivas?
I think it was.
It was,
I think,
yeah.
I think it was, but I think he's vacated anyway, so it's the interim. So seems like that's the route everyone's going, WBC.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, you've got Daniel fighting Fujimoto.
Mm-hmm.
Talk to me about that.
What is he?
You've heard of him before?
Yeah. He's ranked number 93 in the world on BoxRec. I think he was a former kickboxer or something, K1. Was probably decent in there. I think I've seen him over the years. I watched a few of his fights actually recently. He's going to get poleaxed. You get me?
I was waiting for an in-depth analysis then.
No. I've watched him. He's too small. He's short. Daniel's got an excellent jab. He's gonna use that jab, double it up, throw the right, and I think it's see you later, baked potato. You know what I mean?
Do you think Daniel's ready for world level? Because they're talking about next year potentially lining him up for when the belts. We imagine that they're all going to sort of separate and stuff.
Daniel's a very, very good talent. He's 20, 21 or something. Listen, he's got a long time. I think if they're smart and they seem to be guiding him correctly, I think they just need to let him chill behind the back of these boys because he's young enough to do it, and just wait his turn and try and see who he can get when the time is right. You know what I mean? But like Frank said, he's a big, strong puncher. Any of these guys he hits on the chin, you know, I'm sure he'll do a bit of damage. But the same factor is, if he gets hit on the chops, Oscar, he's going to do the little shaky dance stuff as well, and that's just heavyweight boxing. You know what I mean? He was clipped in there by Tete, was it?
Yeah, I'll get the two guy names confused.
I think it was Tete.
Yeah.
Was it Tete or the other one?
No, Larty was the last one, wasn't it? It weren't Larty, it was Tete.
Yeah. So he was clipped by him, and he got buzzed a little bit, and that was good because he had a bit of adversity to deal with, you know, and he came back quite well and strong. So, I mean, I think he's just off the top boys up there. He just needs to be patient. Imagine my bro Dillian Whyte hitting him to the body or to the head with that left hook. You know what I mean? It's a lot of problems. You know what I mean? But I mean, like I said, he's got an excellent jab, and you know, he just needs to be patient and continue. And they're doing a good job. Look, this Fuzzy Moto, or whatever he wants to call himself, is like 93rd in the world. He's going to be a nice little punch bag, and he'll continue to learn and grow. And I don't think he's going to put up much resistance. He might throw a few overhands maybe, but I'd think that's going to be a convincing win for Daniel for me.
Okay, how is Dillian?
He's good.
Training hard?
Yeah.
We expect to see him out in December, is what we've heard.
So I'm hearing the same things as you guys. So, you know, I guess you know, it's been December for a while. I think we're just trying to nail down a date. I'm sure he'll
potentially on the Chavez Jacobs card.
Yeah, I've heard that date. I've heard many other dates also. So, you know, I don't know. Like, once I get in contact with him, I'm sure he'll tell me. Once it's all nailed in, we'll hear, you know. Like Eddie said he definitely wants to get him out in December. So let's see. There's only a few dates left in December. So,
do you think he'd be looking for a high-profile return in terms of an opponent, or just something sort of low-key?
Yeah, it's going to be that because, you know, he just wants to get a run out. You know, it'll be someone he should be able to get a couple of rounds out of, and you know, get a great knockout. Hopefully, you know.
Okay, you're around the Furies today.
Yes, yeah, I noticed. I saw. Was it Big John?
You had any words with Big John?
Tom Fury? Nah, do you know what? I'm quite respectful in that fashion. That's someone's dad. You know what I mean? I'm not really into that kind of caper. You know what I mean? That I wouldn't try to entertain something like that. You get me? That's just like if it was my old man or my mum or something like that's kind of the other side of the fence. If you start doing that, I'll try and just get away from any angle like that. But you know, I'm a man, innit? I just do what I need to. But in the first instance, I look at that's someone's dad. And you know, there's levels of respect, and you've got to kind of give that as it is and just keep it pushing. Yeah, that's what I would do. You know what I mean? Unless I'm clumped in the back of the head or something, and then, you know, it is what it is. But I mean, first off, like I said, for me, if someone in front of my mum, dad, or anything like that, you've just gone straight over the line, and it's just there's some, you know, it is what it is. Yeah.
Was your alarm set for Ksi-Logan, Paul?
Hell no, I was sleeping. I wasn't interested in that stuff. But Do you know what? Credit to those boys, man. Listen, their numbers are astronomical. You know, numbers don't lie, as Floyd used to say, man. Them boys, the thing is, and they actually put on a good fight. You know, Logan was jabbing to the stomach, jabbing, but he's a big old muscle-bound dude. And KSI was swinging.
He's very upright and stiff, isn't he, Logan? He's quite,
But he did good. Most of them big winging shots missed him, so he weren't that stiff. He got out of the way.
He perfected the little shoulder roll.
So I mean, listen, they was getting some. I saw on IFL, what, they hit 2 million or something. What the hell? Listen,
well, I mean, over the 48 hours of fight night and before, I believe it was 11 million hits on videos and the whole. So just shows their audience, yeah.
No. So their thing is a whole different thing, and that's what I was saying to someone earlier. It's like a popularity contest. This boxing gig, you have to have a bit of everything. Like Tyson Wwe's done the WWE, he's gone to a different audience. Now he's doing a bit of kickboxing, MMA. If he can cross over, he's going to get more fans and more traction. And like he's turned into a global star, and he's done a great job with Frank, with Top Rank and ESPN and what they've done.
Do you think we'll see a lot more fighters doing that now, simply because of what it's brought to Tyson?
If they can, you know, because there's people who cross over in the beginning from Muay Thai and MMA and come to boxing, and they're not the greatest boxers. You've got to kind of probably be up there a little bit before and then try and capitalize on something like that. But I mean, if you're up there and you want to build your brand, I think, you know, if you can cross over and at the highest level and get paid the real mega bucks and come out unscathed too much. And
why would you not? Yeah.
Then it's just a no-brainer if you can move it. You know, Dill done good with MasterChef. You know, like that's all sent him into the general public's homes in primetime TV. So listen, it's brilliant.
Your boy Shaq Pitters. Yeah. On paper, that's potentially fight of the year. Him and Craig Richards domestically.
It's going to be a brilliant fight, man. Him and Shaq Pitters
for the British title.
Shaq Pitters and Craig Richards, great fight. Two well-seasoned boys. You know, 6'5", 6'6". Skills to pay the bills, them boys. It's going to be a great showdown just before Christmas for the fans.
Is that exactly what you wanted after Dex Spellman?
I possibly was looking at something different, but it was mandated, so it is what it is.
What sort of thing was you looking at then?
I was possibly looking for him to defend his belt a few more times, you know, and just get a little bit more experience under his belt. But obviously it was mandated, and he's rare and he wants to go. He's got the ability, he looks the part, he lives the life. And he wants to go out there and, showcase his skills. So he was like, this is the fight I want. And I said, well, that's all good. And the rest of the team just cracked on and got the job done. So come December, that's going to be a really, really good fight for those boys. And, let's just see what happens. I don't think it's confirmed yet, but let's see what happens. But if it is done, he's raring to go and he's in camp ready, you know what I mean?
How does he beat Craig Richards?
I think, do you know what it is? He's quite a decent puncher for that weight, and so is Craig, to be honest with you. But I mean, he's the younger man, and I'm sure he's quite hungry. Not to say Craig isn't hungry, but I think it's going to be quite a chess match. It's going to be a very maybe cagey affair because you've got both boys who's going to jab and move. But it's an interesting fight, man. You know what I mean?
Right, and just finally, Joshua-Ruiz, he's coming ever nearer. Talk to me about it. Predictions, what you've seen from Joshua online, looks like he's losing weight potentially.
He has lost a lot of weight. Obviously, he's taking this more serious in terms of before he was fighting Miller, and it was a change of opponent, and maybe he weren't prepared for what Ruiz was bringing at the time. I'm not sure though, but what you got to understand is you still got to be a professional and go out there and do a job. Not to say he weren't. I mean, now he's coming in a lot slimmer to be faster, but so is Ruiz. I just feel like he just needs to go out there and just keep it real basic, keep it long.
As he was doing before Ruiz landed
he did it before, but I mean, now that he knows what happens when you get close, it's just about the discipline, knowing when to hold, when to kind of turn him and stuff, and just keep it basic. You try not to exchange too much, because you saw the combination he does. He seems to get the last say quite a lot. Ruiz was getting, but listen, I'm sure his team have told him enough times, and he's been working on stuff. He's brought in a new coach in what's his name again, Angel, to work on maybe defensive drills and some other stuff. So he's taking it very, very serious. So kudos to him. I hope he wins.
Do you hope he wins because if Ruiz wins, perhaps the belt's staying in America, and it would just be quite tough to...
Yeah, obviously all the belts would be with Al Heyman, but not really. I like Joshua. He's a UK guy. He's done extremely well.
And it suits
UK
Dillian
boxing.
in the long run.
And in terms of the British fans, you've got Fury, you've got Dillian. There's a whole nest of here, but we want this to be the mecca and the home of the heavyweight division. Obviously, we've been having a great few years with heavyweight boxing here. And we definitely don't want them boys running off for the belts because they're just going to hold it up and just have a merry-go-round with our Heyman boys and keep us out in the cold.
You're going to be in Saudi?
Potentially.
Something different?
Potentially. Do you know what? Potentially. There's a Saudi boxer that's going to go boxing, so yeah, maybe.
There's a Saudi boxer, did you say?
Yeah, there's a Saudi boxer who's going to be fighting on there, so maybe. And you never know what's around the corner. So there might be some other news shortly. So. Of Saudi, so we'll see. So there's a possibility. I'm feeling like I'll be there. We'll find out shortly, though.
Okay, Dean Whyte, thank you very much for speaking to IFL TV. Anything else you'd like to add?
Yeah, tune in to what Shaka Pitters become the new British champ, do his thing, get them belts, and then we'll move on and look for whoever else is out there and try and get those belts. You got Lyndon Arthur, he's here with Warren, try and get the Commonwealth. But we're not overlooking anyone, but I'm saying he wants to go get that fight, get that win, and then potentially look at that kind of thing, or maybe the Intercontinental. And then I've got Steve Woodall coming shortly, super middleweight. So look out for him. He's 15-1, very very strong boy. Was with Lou DiBella and Showtime in America. So he's coming out next year. So he's doing good stuff, man. He's a good boxer, strong. He ain't been out for a while, so I want to kind of guide him for a little bit, and then hopefully get him in the mix with the British titles, the Commonwealth and the English title and all those kind of things, yeah. So watch out.
Okay, Dean Whyte, thank you for speaking to IFL
Thanks very
TV.
much, as always.
Sure, catch up with you soon. Cheers, brother.